everybody, and for this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Bladedancer, which is a subclass for the Hunter class in Destiny. So I've played the Bladedancer in PvE and in PvP. What you're going to be watching is all PvP, me using the Bladedancer class, some little highlights of me using it, and also just a full gameplay of me using the Bladedancer class. But what I wanted to do is talk about its strengths, talk about its weaknesses, talk about why I like it, talk about why I don't like it. So if you want to know what it's like to play as a Bladedancer, that's what this video is for, because I had a decent amount of time, about 20 hours playing as a Bladedancer. So hopefully I can answer all of your questions. If you do have any further questions about the Bladedancer, please do leave them in the comment section and I will answer them in the comment section. So with the Bladedancer, what your super is going to be is called Arc Blade, and you basically summon an electric knife and you just run around and you stab people, and it's amazing. You can fly all over the map, you can do different attacks, you have an AoE attack, you have an attack that makes you go invisible. It's so much fun. One thing about the Bladedancer is that it just feels really fun to run at the enemy team and just chain your blade dancing kills together. It feels really good. That's one thing with the Bladedancer. It is extremely fun. Even when you get shut down, when you're using a super, even if you're not doing that good, using Arc Blade just feels really good. Now, one thing that I will say that is definitely bad about Bladedancer is that it is not good for PvE. Sure, you can do PvE with the Bladedancer subclass, but it is not good because most bosses, most high-level monsters in Destiny have an AoE attack. So obviously, if you run at them with your blade and you're dancing around them, they're just gonna smack you. They're just gonna AoE smack you and you're just gonna die. Even though you do have increased health when you are in your Arc Blade form, you have a huge increase in health. It's very difficult to kill someone with an Arc Blade. You're still gonna get smacked by those monsters AoE because most of the time it's a one-shot kill. So for PvE, I would not recommend using the Bladedancer. I would recommend switching back to the Gunslinger when you do go into PvE. Now, I will say that now that I've officially made my official character in Destiny and I have to use the Gunslinger because you unlock Bladedancer or all subclasses for the classes in Destiny at level 15. So I have to use the Gunslinger, and going from Bladedancer to Gunslinger, I really miss Bladedancer. It just feels more rewarding in my opinion. I prefer having a ranged melee attack rather than the throwing knife, which I thought I wouldn't, but I actually do prefer that with the Bladedancer. And just in general, I feel like Bladedancer fits my playstyle even more so than just the Gunslinger. Hunter fits my playstyle perfectly anyway, but the Bladedancer fits it perfectly even more. Because if you're like me and you like to run around with a shotgun, you're gonna love Bladedancer because you can replace your double jump with a short distance teleport. So instead of jumping and jumping again, you can jump and teleport a short distance forward. So if you want to close the gap to get that shotgun kill, Blink is just amazing. So Hunters are known as kind of a sneaky class anyway. They're reliant on speed and being sneaky, and I feel like with the Bladedancer you're even more sneaky and you're even more reliant on speed, because obviously when you pull out your golden gun, you don't really have to worry about your positioning that much at all. You don't have to really worry about when you pull it out. You don't really have to worry about when you use it, because you just pull it out and you just pew pew people. But whereas when you use Arc Blade with the Bladedancer, you can't just run at people, because although you do have an increased health, they can't kill you. You're definitely still killable, so you need to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more sneaky when you're using the Bladedancer over using the Gunslinger class. And I would also say that you're probably more reliant on speed in general as well. I think that the Bladedancer is all about being up close and personal with the enemy, whereas the Gunslinger is more suited for people that like to keep their distance, because obviously you have Blink, which is enabling you to get in there with your shotgun and kill them. You have Arc Blade, which is obviously a melee attack. So I definitely feel like Bladedancer is more in-your-face aggressive Hunter playstyle, and Gunslinger is better for people that like to keep their distance with the throwing knife and the golden gun. It just seems like, yeah, Bladedancer is for more in-your-face type hunters like myself, who sometimes run into 3 people and regret everything later. Another thing that is super cool about the Bladedancer is that they have a lot of invisibility. They have a passive where when you crouch in the same place for a certain amount of time, you go invisible. You have something that you can unlock of when you use Arc Blade, you can disappear into the shadows. That makes us more like a ninja. We're not ninjas, we're kind of ninjas. No, we're hunters. So you have so many different invisibility passives that you can unlock in your skill tree, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. I haven't been able to go that far into the skill tree yet because it takes a freaking long time to unlock that stuff, but looking at the skill tree for Bladedancer, it just looks so much fun. It's already, in my opinion, the most fun class for me to play for sure. Out of all the subclasses, all of the classes, it's my favorite one to play. It's just so much fun. And looking through the skill tree, it looks like it just gets even more fun. You're just running around, being invisible, blinking all over the place, teleporting, and then going invisible, and then running around with an electric knife. What's there not to like? There's nothing not to like about the Bladedancer, except if you like to do stories and strikes, then you probably will hate the Bladedancer because it frickin' sucks in PvE. You can't really use it on bosses at all. You have to just use it on the little minions, so that kind of sucks. But for PvP, it's extremely fun and it's amazing. And if you guys are rolling a hunter, I would recommend that you go ahead and just check out the Bladedancer subclass. I know you can't unlock it straight away, obviously, but just go into the subclass and take a look at the skill tree and tell me how awesome it looks, because it looks super fun. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think about Bladedancer? Have you been able to unlock Bladedancer? And if you have, how are you finding it in comparison to the Gunslinger? Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this Bladedancer gameplay, and I will speak to you awesome people later. Bye.